guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
How
pretty
are you?
good. You?
I'm doing well, thank you. So how's the day so far?
Pretty good. The sun has been shining, which was a long time coming, kind of. So we've been outside a little bit. We did an interview this afternoon with somebody in the sun, so that was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, guys. So this Shame Should Not Be Mine is scheduled to be out on April 1st. So can you tell me a bit about the songwriting and the production behind this new album?
Well, we actually got asked at the end of 2020 to write a commissioned piece for Roadburn Festival.
Mhm.
And obviously at that point, we weren't sure if the festival was going to be like an actual festival in Tilburg or it was going to be a live stream or something, but we immediately started writing. In the earlier days of 2020, I kind of found myself with no work and I was always really running and doing a lot of stuff. Like it was my last day on Earth, kind of. And because of the lockdown and everything, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I kind of got into this mental state where I couldn't really go around a trauma I went through. It was something that happened to me a long time ago, let's say 17 years before that, or maybe 16 back then. But it was something I didn't really deal with. I just tried to ignore it for many years. And then when we started writing music a few months after for Roadburn, I thought, let's write at least one song about it and see if I can relieve myself from the burden of that trauma. And one song became two songs, and then before we knew it, we had a full set written about this trauma and all the facets that go with that. So that's kind of how it started out.
Yeah, and similarly, while the lockdown kind of took away Milena's coping mechanism, it also took away our normal band process. So there are 6 of us, and normally we would see each other every week in rehearsal room and write songs, work on songs together. But this wasn't possible during lockdown, so we had to find other ways of getting our creativity out. And we had this long wish of working with more electronic instruments as well. So to leave the guitar for what it is and try writing with synthesizers. And lockdown kind of created that opportunity, almost out of necessity, but also because we had time and we had the opportunity, and tours were not happening, so we had more time as well to focus on the creative process again. So
we kind of bought a synthesizer and just started to write music like very naively, just really trying to do stuff. We're both not pianists or something, so for us, a piano or a synthesizer is pretty straightforward, but also we kind of just try to turn some knobs and see whatever it would.
We're the kind of musicians for whom an instrument is an instrument, so it's a means to create. I'm not the kind of guitar player or artist that took his instrument to be the absolute master of it. No. Probably because I don't fully have the talent for it, but also because it doesn't really interest me that way. So to get an instrument and to be indeed kind of naive or primal with it was very refreshing after playing guitar for 30 years. And I think that's those two separate processes came together during the last 2 years and created what is The Shame Should Not Be Mine.
Yeah.
It sounds good. And talking about the album again, so the concept is basically taken from the life of Milena. So what she went through, the trauma, the pain, and she has been always in her heart, and she wanted to get it out, and she wants to let the whole world know what has happened to her in her life. So after writing all these songs and making this album, so how does it feel to you, and how does the music help you to come out of it?
I'm not sure if it helped me yet. I have to say it was a bit of a, it maybe is not the best way to cope with your trauma, I guess. I think it might be a much better way to try and find help. Like find a good therapist or somebody who can help you in like a professional way. So it was a bit like, oh, not random, but very out there to just be on the stage and tell everybody about it. It definitely fits me to do it like that, but it is a bit of an outing, which made it, I think, a little bit, there's on the one hand, it was very scary to do it, to tell everybody about it. But after the set we did at Roadburn Redux, so the live stream we did when we played it for the first time for other people, it was really, we got so many amazing responses that to us, and also people reaching out to me and telling their stories, or telling me that they knew people who had gone through the same thing, or they were people that had gone through the same thing. That really touched me, and I think that was really a connection that was also especially lost in 2021. Of course, I mean, obviously we were in contact with some of our friends, but it was really weird to not be in contact with the people we see on tour, or our audience. And it was really nice to connect with everybody, especially in this like pretty deep way and very personal way. And that I think has really, how do you say that, troosten?
Comforted you.
Yeah, comfort me. Yeah. It was really amazing to get all these responses. So I think in that way it was really amazing. Yeah.
And as a bystander, I'm also Milena's partner in life. I think it also did help you in a way that kind of it was necessary for you to probably confront the trauma in this way. And indeed,
I mean, writing the music definitely helped me as well.
Yeah, and to get the process started of indeed finding professional help as well. So maybe not the ideal route, but at least a way to get to get this process going. And I think that's very important.
Writing those words and writing this music was very, doing that was pretty cathartic, and also just finding the right words for what happened to me, and also what it means to be somebody who has this stigma or has this like life story. It really helps it helped me to put it into words. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And talking about the cover art, like it's you on the cover art with the armory. So was there any particular reason to have this art behind it?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we worked with this amazing artist from Milano called Sylvester Mako, and he's a really amazing creative director and photographer, and I'm a big fan of him. So one day I sent him a message just like, who knows if he'll respond, and then he responded that he wanted to work with us. So that was really amazing, and we went to Milan to take these pictures. And the idea behind the armor is that there's many layers to it, but the idea is that it's like it visualizes like this wall you build around yourself when you go through something like this. So it visualizes like this tough shell you have, so people can't touch you. It's also
the heroism of overcoming your trauma like this.
Yeah, but I think what maybe to me it is more like it's this really heavy burden. It might look really tough and strong, but it's also a really heavy burden to wear it. And I think it's also, I mean, I love that I look kind of badass on the cover, like I've just came from battle. But on the other hand, it's also very like vulnerable, because it's just this, I need that shell to be alive, kind of. So yeah, it was a visualization of the trauma, kind of. Yeah, so we tried to make that look as awesome as possible. Yeah.
And you also released the video Notes on How to Trust. So what is the particular reason behind this song, and is there any concept behind this song? And can you tell me a bit about the making of this video?
Yeah, sure. Notes on How to Trust is about how hard it is to trust after somebody did something like this trauma to you. I mean, for me, it was really, I lost kind of all trust in people, but especially trust in myself, because I blamed myself. Obviously, the album title is "The Shame Should Not Be Mine," but I think blame could have worked as well, kind of, because yeah, I kind of blamed myself for it, and that is pretty heavy to carry around. So with the video for Notes on How to Trust, I wanted to visualize that heavy burden, like this luggage you take with you everywhere. If you have a story like this or any other life story, then it's just, yeah, it's heavy to carry around. And I mean, the backpack I wear in Notes on How to Trust is big enough to carry like a full body in it. So that was the whole idea behind it, to show that there's a body, that there is a body in there. And yeah, it's just a different way, just like the artwork, a different way to visualize that story, and that's maybe also even the creepiness behind it. And it was a pretty heavy shoot as well, because we shot it in Rotterdam, where we live, in the Netherlands. But it was a night shoot, and it was very cold.
Yeah,
so
it was a cold November night,
yeah.
I remember.
So that was a pretty interesting night, I have to say. You know, when you're going out or something, and you're in the middle of the night, and you're just like, at one point you get really tired, but then a few minutes later you're over that tiredness, and then it feels like it's impossible to sleep. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like this very weird experience to have like a full day, and then go into recording the video, and then kind of having a second day in this one in this like 24 hours. It was the heaviest, one of the heaviest things I've ever done physically, I think. And it was interesting because we were joking about it all the time, because the idea in the video is that I look worse and worse throughout the video, and that kind of happened naturally. So I mean, it was mega tired, so yeah.
And before the release of the album, do you have plans to make more videos?
Definitely. So we released also a video for Invisible a few weeks ago, and there's even 2 more coming. So next week we'll release a single with a video as well, and then hopefully on the day we release the album. So yeah.
Sounds good. And what will be the plans on the day of the release?
Ooh. Well,
yeah, well, yeah, we don't
celebrate, of course.
Celebrate, probably be quite present on social media to tell everybody that the day has come. Yeah,
I really hope we can hang out with some friends in the band and just celebrate that the release is finally there. It's been
it's been both a quick and a long process, because it's only been like a year and a half ago that we got the commissioned piece from Roadburn, and now there's the album already, so that's only a year and a half.
I mean, the music, we've written the music super fast.
Yeah,
normally it takes us like 9 or 12 months to write, like from beginning to finish a full album and to maybe record it. But with this, we only had 6 months kind of to write all these songs, and then we already had to play it live. So, and then afterwards we released it, we recorded it in the studio. So that went super fast. But eventually, when the show was played, it took us another year to work on it. So
yeah, to record the album, and promote the album, and then release it. So yeah.
But we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's just gonna, it's both, we're completing the process that we just went through, but it's also going to be the start of touring cycle. And so yeah, we really can't wait to get back on stage, because that's been way too long. We had the luck of doing maybe like 3-4 shows during the pandemic, but yeah, now everything is opening up again here, and yeah, we can't wait to be on stage and actually have a good live audience again.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And anything scheduled so far?
Well,
Well,
we just announced a few dates supporting Aman-Ra in Germany and in Germany.
France.
Yeah, and Netherlands as well. Of course, we're playing the Roadburn Festival on April 22nd, which two of us are also co-curating, which is going to be amazing. And yeah, we have some dates lined up and quite a few more to be announced, hopefully soon. It's kind of weird situation because of the pandemic and now things opening up again. Opportunities now start to arise again. And
Yeah, I mean, 2 months ago, we weren't even sure if Roadburn was going to take place. I mean, right now, it feels like that's a really long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago that we were just like, ooh, is this ever going to be over? So I think a lot of opportunities will arise, but we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. It's not confirmed yet.
Yeah.
No.
Wonderful, wonderful. And coming back to the album again, it's a pleasure to listen to the album completely. And I would say this is a brilliant album. Great work from you guys. It has there was melancholy in it, emotional stuffs. It is slow. It has power, and it has some kind of darkness inside of it. So a brilliant album overall. I really enjoyed it. And as a band, how do you feel about the outcome, and how do you feel about the entire album?
I think we're pretty proud of it. It's interesting because we already played it and we got so many amazing responses. We kind of decided to record it as an album. So I think normally when we record an album and we release it, nobody kind of heard it yet. So then we normally don't know if people are going to like it, and it's maybe even a bit scary to release stuff. But now we're kind of convinced, I think, that it is something that people will find.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And
right?
And even if they don't, I think we
we're happy. Yeah.
I think we succeeded artistically from what we wanted to do, and
I think so too. Yeah.
And it's been a successful adventure in that way. So yeah, I think we're very happy with it, and I'm sure some people will love it, some people will hate it. That's all fine.
Yeah, up to them.
We'll see.
And it's almost 10 years since GGGOLDD started. So how has the musical journey been for you guys so far?
Oof.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's 10 years.
It's such a long time. My God. Yeah.
Well, I think it's been, yeah, it's actually the first time somebody asks us to reflect on this. I think we just did what we wanted to do when we started out. I think we were very strongly connected to my Devil's Blood background, and you definitely hear that on Interbellum, the debut album. I think it took us a few years to actually really develop our own sound and identity as a band. But one of those, I think, main aspects of being the band that we are is to always evolve and change and be open for experimenting and new perspectives on the music that we make.
Yeah, we're definitely not scared to take a different turn, and I think that's also what we did with this album, with the electronics, but also with being even more open about our personal lives. I think it's just what I love about what we do is that we're never stuck. We always try to do something different, and we don't try to repeat anything. So obviously there's songs that people like better than other songs, but it's never that we're trying to duplicate a song like that or something. It's just then there's this one song, and then we'll try to make other songs that people like, but not really copy ourselves or anything.
Yeah.
So we're not stuck in our genre or whatever. And I love that we can just do whatever we want to do, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we really love music, and I think that there's so much music that inspires us and still being made till this day. I love the music that I listened to 30 years ago when I was a young metalhead discovering all the extreme sides of metal. But in those 30 years, there's probably like thousands of artists that I've listened to that inspire me and that made me want to be the artist that I am today. And And I think that that's what you also hear in the trajectory of Gold. Is not we don't limit ourselves to specific scene, sound, or taste or whatever. Yeah.
Sounds good. And any particular reason for putting a lot of stress on the goal thing?
You mean the band name?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's today. It's quite important to be findable online. That we learned that the hard way, because when we chose this band name 10 years ago, I don't think Spotify even existed back then. I don't even remember. So we didn't really take all this the whole digital realm into account, and we just settled on this name because we liked the correct characteristics of Gold, which is being pure and inimitable, and with characteristics that we also like to see in humans. When you talk about a person being Gold, you mean that they're honest, that they are friendly, that they are a great person in total. So I think that's what appealed us in the original name. But yeah, we also found that we were really hard to find online. Even if you'd been following us for years and years, and even if you'd bought 3 of our albums, we were still pretty difficult to find. So
even the algorithm couldn't fix it.
No.
So
So
people liking us didn't really matter for finding us. So
I think what we did, the algorithm challenged us, and we took on the challenge, and I think we now fixed it. And
yeah, if you just type in three Gs, you're going to find us on Spotify or whatever other
so that's
search bar. Yeah, that to us is really important.
And it's still Gold. So
yeah.
I think it's win-win.
Wonderful, wonderful. And would you like to share some of the great moments that you had over the years?
Well, the first one that comes to mind, but also makes me sad a little bit, is that in 2017, I think, we did 2 shows in Russia, in Moscow and St. Petersburg, and those were insane. They were so intense, both the shows, but also being there and getting to meet all these amazing kids that try to make the best of their lives in a almost dictatorial country, and trying to be the persons that they wanted to be in their full all facets. And now, of course, I've always longed to go back to Russia and do more shows there. But now, of course, war has broken out in Europe. We've been in contact with quite some of the people that we know, both in Ukraine and Russia. And none of these people, of course, want this. We've heard from Russian friends that really want to flee the country now. And that kind of makes me sad. It's, of course, it's a little bit sad for me that I can't go to Russia to play this concert, but that's incomparable to the suffering and the traumas that are being created in those countries over there. So this doesn't really answer your question in the kind of way, because you wanted to
really a euphoric story. No.
You wanted to shine light on some joyful stuff. But yeah, this is the first thing that came to mind. I'm sorry about this.
Right. And talking about Milena, so Milena, like I know you went through a lot of trauma and things like that, but I know music can help a lot, and as time passes by, things will get back to normal, hopefully soon. But are you also planning to help out people who are going through the same kind of thing?
Well, I think I kind of wrote it in for a pretty selfish reason, to just release the story and to see what would, if it would help me in any way. I do remember writing a statement on Instagram to tell everybody about the subject matter of this album, and just before we did that, I was really hesitating to do it because I felt like people couldn't really read it through the lyrics. And I thought, let's see. I mean, I wasn't really sure if I was able to share it, but then the evening before I eventually put it online, I kind of realized that the reason I started writing it as well was one of the reasons was to at least, so one, make people talk about it, because that like relieves the taboo about these kind of stories. I think it's important to talk about it, to just notice that people go through these things and also make it easier for other people to talk about this. And I also think that if I could have listened to an album back then, that would have told me that I wasn't alone and that it happened to more people, and that it's, yeah, I think probably biggest reason that I wasn't alone. It would have definitely helped me. And so in some way, I think making this album also is a way to try and heal people that go through this. I mean, it's a bit of a, yeah, reaching out to people that went through the same thing. I mean, I think it is healing to know that you're not alone. And I think stuff like this can really isolate you and give you the idea that that you are alone. Obviously, I've learned, especially now by releasing the stories, that there are, I mean, so many people that go through this or other traumatic stories. So I think in that way I try to help a little bit, yeah. But there are no other like concrete ideas to help people with it.
Yeah, and what we also found is that it's not just women that responded and told us that they experienced something similar. Of course, non-binary people as well, but also men, a lot of men, and the taboo on that is maybe even bigger. Yeah. So if for everybody who has experienced this, if they find comfort in this, I think that's beautiful.
Wonderful. And moving on to the future of the band. So do you plan to do more experimentation to the band? Do you have other plans coming up?
Yeah, well, experimentation, I think that's kind of our nature. So yeah, I would be surprised if that's not in the cards. But yeah, we haven't really started writing new stuff yet. So we'll see where that goes. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty certain that a lot of focus will be on electronic experimentation, because yeah, we just started our travel in this universe of synthesizers. So there's a lot to discover and uncover. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, first and foremost, touring. So yeah, let's hope we get to cross a lot of borders and meet a lot of people.
That would be awesome. And finally, what would be the message that you want to give to the fans around the world?
Well, the most important thing I want people to get from this is that they are not alone, and that it's important to get help and to share your story. So I think that is probably the most important thing, right?
Yeah,
trust yourself.
Everybody has their own stories, so yeah, be kind to each other
and to yourself.
Don't judge people on single moments or whatever. Always try to understand where they're coming from, and also be you in your best way.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And Thomas and Milena, it's a pleasure to meet you both today and have this wonderful interview with you. And thanks for sharing all those wonderful things with me today. And thanks for making amazing music over the years. And thanks for the new album that is coming up on April 1st. We are all looking forward to the album. And I wish you guys all the best and hope to see you on the road really soon.
Yes, hope so
too.
Hope
to see you too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You take care and have a great evening out there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.